this computer. I'm gonna create a locator. The locator is gonna be my rig. And I'm going to, might have to repose all of the thing. See if we can do that. Gonna constrain parent and not maintain offset. So that'll move that locator right to this spot. Delete the constraint. Ah, where'd it go? Still there. Okay. So I want to have the control. See how actually, yeah, it's on object. That's correct. Object. Oh, good. Okay, so we're lined up. So I was just making sure this axis matches. I'm gonna move this up so it's more about where I might be wanting the parent to be. And then I wonder if we could save this animation. Not have to redo it. This is, we constrain it again. Maintain offset, apply. So this locator will probably move with that stick right now. And then are your keys even? 12, 24, 36, 48. What are these 12s?
Yeah, every 12.
Cool. This is perfect. Good. You lucked out on doing it this way. I'm gonna bake. So I want to move I'm moving the animation off that stick onto this locator. I'm gonna bake every 12 frames and hit apply. See if that did it. It's off by 1 frame. Oh, I think if we start on 0, let's see. And then make sure it's still moving, Apply. Okay, so we got a key every 12 frames. And this is now, I can delete this constraint. So it's just a locator that's animated, right? Now I'm gonna take this object, remove the keyframes, because we essentially moved the animation from this object to the locator, and now I put the mesh underneath the locator. What that gets me, something broke. Oh, I didn't delete the keyframes. Hold on. Gotta delete these keyframes because we moved them. I had 2 objects selected. Hey. Oh, the rotation flips out. So I bet all our keyframes are good. But this does this weird flip right here. I'm gonna Euler filter. Okay, now we're back to normal. You'll hear people say gimbal lock a lot. That's when, the gimbal is the object you're grabbing in Maya and rotating. And then usually Euler filter will just kind of sort that out for you. It works surprisingly all the time. Okay, so we got our stick, but now we want our arms to be attached to that stick. You did put some keys in, so this object is like moving around that stick in different ways to get your poses clean. I want to move to the IK controls on the hands, so that way when I move this stick, the IK controls will move around, and I can still key it. So I'm gonna start, but I'm gonna make 2 more locators. I actually do this at work all the time. So maybe not all the time, but like a couple times a year. So if professional 3D animator is your dream, this is something you'll want to know how to do. I'm gonna constrain parent. Don't maintain offset, apply. No, hold on, I broke it. Try again. Got it. So now these two will be following the hands. Cool. So because you did this every 12 frames, it's really making life a lot easier for us. So now I'm gonna go the same process, edit keys, bake sim every 12 frames on frame 0, hit apply. Now those locators got the animation on it. Now I wanna switch to IK. So it's these little, it's just cool that it's similar as what we were going over with Christina earlier. So I'm gonna switch to IK. And I'm gonna delete the keys because we have the keys on those locators. During this process, I always like check that things are still there. This is also very similar to what you do with motion capture all the time. So they're both like freaking out on the rotation. You can see them kind of spinning the whole time. But I bet you the keyframes are accurate. It's just in between the keys, those Eulers are going all weird. And one other way to tell is the numbers are pretty high. You're going between 200 and negative 300. Maybe it's not that weird. Let's go curves, Euler filter. It did pop them around. And it looks pretty solid now. They look like they're doing what you keyed before. Okay. Now we got to move these hands to these locators. This might work. There's a chance that this might not work perfectly, but let's find out. So grab right here, constrain parent, don't maintain offset. Grab left, grab here, don't maintain offset. Did we delete the keys on both hands? Yeah, we did. Okay, let's see if we're following now. Yeah. So we got some elbow poses because we didn't get any data from that. But so we have a couple options. If we bake that data now onto these hands, we would be in IK mode, but they wouldn't be following any like common parent. Because right now, oh, I forgot the parent stuff. Oh no! This is supposed to be under this before I parent it. Because right now you can see like I move this and this, and they're all separate.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'm just gonna undo back. This has keys. I need the constraints back on them. Oh, we might be able to just remove, because these two have the constraint still. We might be able to just remove the keyframes and the constraint will start working again. One of the two locators is, no, they're both still busted. Broke both of them. Try again. Okay, take these two guys. Delete these constraints. So they're in the right spot. I'm gonna parent them to that other locator. So they'll move together. Then I'm going to constrain it to the FK hand. Okay. Are these guys still animated? Yeah, they are. Cool. And then we'll put the constraint. That's the locator. We want to constrain the locator to the FK hand. Don't maintain offset. double check that things are still lining up. Yeah, so this one matches this right now, but the keys aren't on it yet. They're getting there. Okay, so now I can bake again. The main difference is the locators are a child of that first parent locator. We're gonna maintain offset. No, we're gonna keys bake. That Euler filter. Then turn IK on. And then attach the IK control to the locator. Might already be attached. Let's see. Shouldn't need those locators anymore. Can do this again later. Okay, cool. So now we have a cool rig where whatever I do to this golf club,
Oh, nice.
it's moving everything, but I can still grab this hand and pose it out however I want, and it doesn't lose its connection to this guy. And we've saved your animation.
Yeah, I was worried how I was going to do so many poses on the hands, just holding the grip.
Yeah, so for example, I'm gonna save this so you can have something to reference. Final layout. 2H rig. And so you can Google how to set up a two-handed weapon rig. And there's a video that comes up. There's a bunch of them actually that show the same process, but it's not in your scene. So it's obviously more helpful if it's exactly your setup. And then they do the same thing. They build a locator for the weapon, and then they have the hands parented to other child locators. So it's cool to see someone else set it up, but they do it for like a great sword because it's the same idea where it's a big sword
All
that you
right,
swing, and
two-handed.
so they make the sword the parent. Oh, the other thing with doing it on the locator instead of the sword is I can still key this sword, this thing around separately. So if like the pose needs working, you have 4 objects to grab: the weapon, the 2 hands, and the parent of your two-handed weapon rig. That's a really standard setup for that stuff. Oh, so I was going to show you as an example, if I removed all the keys and just depended on this that you set up, I still kind of get the correct stuff, right? But I mean, we haven't posed out any of the hands. It's just going together. But the reason I transferred everything, that way we kept all your poses you made. Oh, and then you'd need to let's just make sure it works here. I'll grab this. I'm gonna key just to get the elbows in the right keyed. Probably, I would imagine you would just need to put these in the right spot, and it'd be back to where you had it. Every time you go into a shot, you just kind of ask yourself, what is the best setup? Keep doing this next in for my shot. This shot is 100% like you want to do a two-handed. Things getting screwy. Oh, my hand is on my Wacom tablet again. I kept clicking on stuff. Something was clicking on accident. I just wanted to make sure this setup will work. I've done a lot of times I've like animated stuff the wrong way, or not necessarily the wrong way, but like I've animated it one method, and then I was struggling with it so much, and it's so frustrating that I would just go and do a different method, and a lot of times I would get to a better results like way faster, just because one, I knew the motion better because I'd spent so much time with it already, and two, the setup is just it's just easier to work with setup. Okay. So yeah, now you should be able to pose the hand. The things to be careful is if you key this IK hand here, it'll stop following the rig.
Hmm. Okay.
That's just a feature. It's like it's not a bug. It's a feature in Maya, because it added this thing called blend parent. So if you slide it to 1, it'll follow. So everything past this keyframe is following that constraint, and everything before over here it's 0 and like translates. So if you do it over just 1 frame, it pops back down. So it's like the IK control is following itself, which is just a straight line, and then it switches parents and then goes up and follows the hand. So if you wanted to like release the object off of the two-handed control rig, that's what you would key. I just figured this one out recently, actually. I've seen that before. I've seen that blend parent before, because it's not here, right, in the channel box. It only shows up if it's constrained and you press S, because then Maya goes, hey, you're keying this and this is constrained. Let me help by putting in this blend parent object. But if you keyed it in general, I would avoid keying this altogether. So if you keyed it on accident, you just go into the graph editor and remove the keyframes, and then it'll start working again. A lot of times what I'll do is just hide these two IK controls. But it gets kind of scary because you might lose track of where they are. Well, and it's not letting me hide it anyway. Maybe we can put it on a display layer. Yeah, that works. Okay, you can do that. So now if you're not gonna be messing, if you don't want to like use those IK controls, so unless the hand comes off the golf club, just leave the IK controls hidden so you don't key them on accident, and you should be good.
Okay.
Uh, okay. And then you probably want to make the golf club part of this as well. I'd probably go with maybe a cube, maybe a mesh smooth, and then you can add more polys in this if you wanted. I don't know what golf clubs look like, but you get the idea. Once you get it more or less what you want, I think you can go mesh combine. Nope, let's try it again. There we go. Just had to reselect it for whatever reason. Is this, now it's not in the locator rig anymore. So might want to be careful on that one. What are we gonna do? Mesh, combine. Still dropped it out of there. Edit, delete by type, history. Parent it back in there. Oh no, let me fix this. So if you press int, so in this case, I want that pivot to be back here. Like, it's gonna be hard to work with this, with the pivot way over here and then the axis orientation. Let's see if Mesh Combine has a setting that lets us keep the pivot of the first selected object. Where's Mesh Combine? Mesh Combine option box. Pivot position, last object. I think that's all we need to grab. So the last object is the last thing you selected. But it didn't keep the orientation. It kept the location. So I can press insert now and just like position it where I want it. So now the object is still not doing what I wanted it to do. There now, okay, got it. So yeah, the insert is a hotkey on the keyboard. It's a pretty like common modeling tool thing in Maya. Why are you not saving? Disappointed in you, modeling. What else could we do? We could edit, delete by type history. Could probably it's gonna like line it up with the world better and then reset the pivot and then reparent it. I think it'll be fine. Done this a bunch of times too. That's under modify, maybe freeze transforms? No. Reset? Yeah, it's reset. So everything is just under modify, reset transforms. Now I can parent it under the locator and then zero this out, and then I'll just kind of repose it wherever you had it. That was more trouble than I thought it would be. But I did it.
Good end result.
Yes. Okay, so I will say I don't mind if you just grab this file and continue forward, because what we just did is important to learn, but it's also pretty complicated.
Yeah, I was taking notes and going to rely on this recording for sure.
I would say spend some time trying to figure that out,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then what you do on the animation once you get stuff in there, you could put a locator on the I would put a locator. So this is like animation notes. Now we're moving off of text setup. I'm gonna make a locator, parent it to the mesh. Wherever that mesh goes, the locator goes with it. I'm gonna put this at the end of the club. Now we can generate a motion trail and see the golf swing. You can see like the golf swing's pretty clean. And then it gets screwy in there. It's probably not the right curve we'd want. You might want to look up curves, golf swings from like front view, just to kind of see what it should look like. I've not ever done a golf swing research, but this would
Yeah,
help.
I found a good like analysis of a golf
Oh,
swing
nice.
video.
Yeah, and then once you do that, then you can the end of that golf swing is going to be either, and you can name these here too. You can go like weapon 2H rig, parent, golf club. I like golf club rig better. Golf club, rig parent, left hand. Right hand. So in order to get this curve looking good, you have two objects that you care about. The rest of the character doesn't matter. And this is important for any kind of melee stuff you do in games and whatever, just because you want like a nice clean rotation on everything. Because if you do hips and then spine, you get these weird wiggles and stuff everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, we only care about the golf club and the parent golf club. It's just these two objects. But this object has no keys yet. Because sometimes you'll like really like your hand position. Because when you move this, it might break your hands. But at the moment, the hands are probably already posed out, so you would just work on this swing. So probably there might be wonder if there's a twist in there. Weird. Get into this next week, I guess. I don't know why that's pinching that way. Almost feels like it's spinning the wrong direction. Oh, I think that looked okay. Yay. I just took out one of the two axes. The green one. What is green? Yeah, the green is the twist here. The blue is up and down. Okay, that makes sense. You have to just figure all that out as you're working on it. And then you can check the timing against your video. And then we can go from there. Probably broke it. Probably was down here. See what it did to this curve. Okay. All right. Yeah, so between now and next week, mess around with you know, if you have time, try the constraint stuff and add some more keyframes. Check your timing against your reference video, especially the swing part, and then we'll check it out next week.
Okay, thank you very much.
Super simple, right?
Super simple.